New Dawn. Today is Monday. And of course, today we are turning our attention to a critical challenge in the health sector. That's the health system in Nigeria, the brain drain in the health sector. Every year, thousands of our doctors, nurses, pharmacists, and other healthcare professionals actually leave the country in search of better opportunities abroad. And the growing exodus has left many hospitals struggling with staff shortages, increased workload, and declining access to quality healthcare for millions of Nigerians. That's why we're looking at this today. And we have two guests here in the studio with us to dissect the reason this is so, and of course, what Nigeria should do as a country. Dr. Nkom is a consultant surgeon. Dr. Ebenezer Nkom, thank you so much for being a part
of
the program. And we also have the former National President, National Association of Nigerian Nurses and Midwives, Dr. Abdul Rafiu Adeniji MNI. Thank you for being a part of the program today.
Thank you too.
I won't be doing this alone, or we won't be doing this alone. My colleague is also here in the studio, Taiwo Fabaje.
Yeah, good morning, Nigerians. Welcome to the studio, Dr. Hong Kong. And now, according to the State of Health of the Nation reports 2025, exactly 20,966 Nigerian health workers relocated abroad within a single year. This massive brain drain includes 3,919 doctors, 7,487 nurses and midwives, and 6,861 medical laboratory professionals. So it's cut across every part of the health sector in Nigeria. So let me start with Dr. Nkom. When we talk about this brain drain, you know, you've been all your life, this has been your sector. How bad is this when we talk about defining what brain drain is really? How bad is it when it comes to, you know, having shortage of medical staff to work with, you know, as an health worker?
Yeah, thank you very much, and good morning, Nigerians. My name is Dr. Nkom, a retired chief consultant surgeon. I've been in this profession for quite a while, and what we talk of brain drain as if it is a new and acute issue. No, it's been with us for a long, long time. I remember as a medical student in the University College of Ibadan in the 70s and 80s, or let me use the word late 70s and all that. There are periods, it came in seasons. You wake up in the morning, go to classroom, and then you find out that your teacher had just left to Saudi Arabia. And what happened? Aga don't go Saudi. When he left last night and all that. He'd been there, but it wasn't as bad. Would I use the word bad as it is now? We are having this problem, but let us make some categorical statements. As a professional, you have the right to practice your profession anywhere in the world where you are needed and valued. That is number one. You have the right to improve your value in terms of finance wherever you can. At least that is a fundamental human rights. And if a country doesn't believe in their services and another person believes in their services, and we are free to take their choice. And we don't eat, nobody eats patriotism at the end of the day. When you go to the market, the currency is not patriotism. The currency in Nigeria is Naira. So whatever legitimately can fetch you Naira, and then you think that is what you, yes, that is it. So we have been having this issue, this so-called brain drain. It's now becoming more acute, and people are talking about it because we are now having the effect in our hospitals, in our clinics and whatever. It's not only in the medical profession, let's say. Lawyers are moving out, engineers are moving out, teachers are moving out, architects are moving out, even artisans are moving out to where they can make more money. That is the main issue. For the doctors and nurses, of course, we feel it when they go to hospitals. It's reflecting in our healthcare system and perhaps worsening it, our healthcare system, where you don't have enough doctors and nurses to run our clinics, to run our wards, and what have you. It's a big problem. It's a very, very big problem in Nigeria today. But let us situate it also internationally. Don't forget that most of these healthcare professionals who leave Nigeria go to fill vacuums left by other people in other places. For example, doctors and nurses are moving from America, from the UK, into Canada, because Canada is a bit more, yes, the tax regime there is better and all that. And they're moving to Australia. So the vacuum they leave behind, it was Nigerians going to fill those vacuums. Even in the UK, United States of America, they're having problems. And because people are living there to where you have some of these tiny, tiny Caribbean countries where you can make more money and live a more decent life and all that. So it's a global issue. It's only that we have not made contingency plans, and we are not even looking at the issue yet in a very confronting issue. What do we do? That is why we are feeling it about what is happening in the contemporary Nigerian issue. We are not looking at it. The government is not looking at it. Anything they are doing is they are paying lip service to it. They are not looking at what can we do so that we can ameliorate this issue. And I have a lot to say about it. Let me stop here.
Yes. All right.
Okay, Mr. Adeniji, we would like to get your opinion now, looking at the practicality of this situation and the enormity of it. How bad is it in our hospitals now?
Good morning, Nigerians. Labor migration, I call it.
Okay.
And it is generic. It has been there for so long. From the existence of human beings, people move from one area to the other to seek confidence in what they are doing. Labor migration that we call brain drain now started, we are feeling the impact now in Nigeria when it is now affecting the public service. For so long, it has been people who are not engaged, who will seek greener pasture elsewhere. The situation now is so critical that unfortunately what we must have planned, just like Dr. Nkom said, we didn't plan it on time. Actually, the concept brain drain denotes that people who are working where they are less valued, where they are not being recognized, where their take-home pay will not even offer them anything, even after study for many years. They want to seek a more comfortable place where when they work, they are proud to say, I'm a worker. Just like it has been said, it is necessary today in Nigeria to know that healthcare services are becoming more inaccessible to the people. Even those who have their money to go to seek healthcare services are finding it difficult. Why? Many of the specialist doctors, many nurses with their specialization are moving out. Lab scientists are not left behind. Physiotherapists are also moving. And as a result, the government seems as if they are not feeling it. Otherwise, if the government have been able to plan ahead, then what is happening today will not be happening. The hospitals are not having the complement of the doctors, the nurses, even the administrators in the health sector. And yet we are paying lip services. Whatever Nigerian government is doing today is not addressing the matter, it's just scratching it on the surface. Some other country, while their citizens are moving, are planning. They even have a plan where whenever any healthcare professional is moving out of the country, they know where he or she is going, because they know they must protect that person elsewhere. In Nigeria, you are on your own. Even as, I won't say as far as Cuba has what they call medical diplomacy. They train their medical doctors, they train their health workers, and they negotiate with countries to supply them. But in Nigeria, nobody is looking at that place. Even the people, the professional associations that are clamoring becomes somehow being neglected, and they are not.
Are you sure Nigerian government now have not been doing anything? Because when you check the costs of being a medical student, graduating in Nigerian universities, it's been said that it is highly subsidized compared to the developed countries. Is that not a way of making it, a strategy sort of to get things better?
Well, it is right to rationalize and to say that healthcare professional training in Nigeria is subsidized. It is correct, but it's been subsidized from the personal pocket of the people that are going to these schools.
Okay.
I make bold to say it. If you want to really subsidize what we are talking, how many allowances are you giving to medical students, nursing students, and the likes?
In terms of payment of tuition, now thousands of dollars is being paid abroad to get, to get your license, to get, your degree and the likes in the medical field. So is that also not a way? Can government actually do more? Is that what you're saying?
Government should do more. And when we are talking about the cost of training, I'm saying it in Nigeria. Nigeria is one of the countries where we spend more for our healthcare sciences training. Our licensure is paid by the individual professional. No government does that for us. But if government want to actually address it, even this brain drain we are talking of, there's a way of turning brain drain into brain circulation. If you want to do this, we know that people who are trained, they have the right to choose where they want to work. Some of the regulatory councils tried, they even started with that of the nursing council. And they said that nobody can travel out of this country. They stopped every processing. But the national law is that when you block a way, another way will open. And people are still moving. As a result, if you want to address it, we know what to do. We start with the condition of service of these healthcare professionals in this country. Here is a surgeon. I have retired, he has retired. We know what we met when we are coming to the profession. We know what it is now, and it is appalling. That you can get into a teaching hospital in Nigeria and then find the condition, the resident doctors, the specialists, nurses, and every one of them are working. There are no equipment, there are no infrastructure. There are no welfare scheme for these health workers as well. And if they want to move, they have to move to where they think their interest is protected and their future is safeguarded. But in Nigeria of today, when we talk in terms of training, individual that goes into that training knows what we are expending. If they want to make it, let's make these key healthcare professionals a free, fully free institution, and then provide everything that they need for the training. Then we can say they have assisted. It is then they have the right to say, okay, we have trained you, and because that we have trained you, we have some rights upon you. They can even make some policy that will make people to stay. The former Director General of WHO says training and recruitment of healthcare professionals is not the most important. You have to ensure that you retain them. What do you do to retain them? You ensure that the condition of services in this country, in whichever country you are considering, is conducive for the healthcare professionals. If that is not done, all things that are being done are either pocket infrastructure or just doing something to ensure that there is a way to explain how the budget goes.
All right, Dr. Onkon, I noticed you jotting some things. Maybe you want to react before I ask.
Yeah, let me. Yes, this talk of subsidizing medical education in Nigeria and all that. You're being dishonest. Are you subsidizing medical education? I'm very frank. In Bangkok, no. We have private medical universities now who are offering nursing, physiotherapy. Are you subsidizing them? this so-called subsidy you are subsidizing in the federal university, what is it you are even subsidizing, sir? How much is it? What is it? You are doing very little or nothing. So those things, those are lies which people continue to tell on, and people think is the truth. So that's not true. That is not true. For example, it costs millions to train a medical student in one of these private universities, and they pay out of either the parents or the community and whatever. So that is, but that's not even the issue. Even if you're doing that, and as he rightly said, we're talking of the welfare. As I'm talking to you now, Lagos State Federal University, Lagos State Teaching Hospital, they are on strike. Resident doctors are on strike. They have been on strike for the past, maybe getting up about 3 weeks or 1 month. And what is it? Can I tell you what is the problem?
Welfare.
Call duty feeding. That is when a doctor works late in the night, the hospital says it's too difficult to give them something to eat. After maybe operating till 12 midnight, and you have no place to buy food, and they say, give us cold food. They say it's too much, but it's not too much to buy SUVs of 160 billion and all that. You see, those are the issues which is built into this, which you don't know. You can imagine that, and you say it's not, and you talk of welfare, and you talk of you are subsidizing it, and all that. That's not true. And also, I remember before I left service some years ago, there was one of my resident doctors who just left to South Africa. And then when he went there, he stayed for about 6 months. He said, okay, he told me his condition of service. What he was earning in a month, equivalent in a month, was what I was earning in a year in Nigeria. And he came back. When he came, he gave me a lot of gifts and all that. And I was looking at myself. That's my resident doctor. What he earns in a month is equivalent to what I earn in a year. That was then. I don't know what happens with the chief consultant now with the devaluation of the naira. You can imagine what will happen. So if you have an opportunity of going out, and you tell me, now there are some of us who still don't want to move out. But the thing is that there are too many things going on in healthcare. Apart from, let me make a general statement too, that also the benchmark is the exchange rate. You see, government toys with the exchange rate. Government allows market forces to determine exchange rate. And when you do that, a lot of things go wrong. Yes. The day this government decides to drop the egg for whatever reason to maybe $1 to 500 naira, you will see a reverse. There will be a reverse in the moment, because where they are going to, it's not as if it's Eldorado. They are finding it difficult, but their difficulty is rewarding. That is only yes. It's not as everything is the culture change, the shocks, the things we have to do and all that, even the upkeeps and all that. It's not as easy as that. But even some of them, when they cannot fit into the system, they prefer Uber drivers, cleaners, working in this thing, which is still, I know of some bankers who have left Nigeria to go and work as Uber drivers in the United States and all that. And they still, maybe for whatever reason, they don't want to come back and all that. So the issue is beyond what people are talking of. You see, the general economy is not friendly at all. And that is number one. Number two is that even as it is now, I thought they were going to ask me that about last year, they said, oh, people have retired, you can now go back. About it is a lie, telling lies. Go and ask how many have applied and have been taken. None. None. But they will tell you, oh no, if you retire, you see, feel it's not working, it's not happening. And it's internal, it's our own. That is the way we are. In fact, apart from finance and all that, the way we run our hospitals make it very frustrating. Very, very frustrating to the practitioners, frustrating to the nurses, frustrating to the doctors, physiotherapists and all. I'm talking internal working of our hospitals. It makes it don't make you feel like going to work and all that. Forget about equipment, forget about days, forget about and all that. This other thing. Let them come and tell me how many people they have employed, who have gone back, who are willing to go back. We still have enough doctors. I keep on telling this without any fear of favor, that we still have enough doctors and nurses in this country now to run our healthcare delivery system well. But they will not get into the system. They won't, for whatever reason, yes. They won't. That's, I'm just telling you now. There are some of the people who are retired, but they are not tired. but they cannot because of the all sorts of things, facts, but they will come and tell you, no, you go back. It is a lie. I'm not embellishing anything. I'm not making anything. Let them, any of them come and say, where? How many have you reabsorbed? Answer is no. Why? You see, when you see such a thing, most of our nurses who go out are retired nurses, which we think they are retired, they are useless. But other people call them.
Okay,
and they're doing well.
When we talk about what government is doing differently this time around, in 2024, the federal government actually approved a 100% increase in admission quotas for medical, nursing, pharmacy, and other health professional programs.
Quotas to where? To where? No, quotas to where? Quotas to where?
That's for the what is it called? The training now.
In their hospitals, in their universities. Sorry, man.
Exactly.
In their universities.
Exactly.
How many universities do they have?
So in 2025, government also announced plans to expand medical education further by targeting the enrollment of 20,000 medical students annually. With all this that they are doing, is it really going to change anything with your analysis of the welfare package, the environment, you know, with which medical professionals are working? If they are not touching on those critical aspects, is it really going to work?
No. You see, most of those things they say, it's only that the press is not following them up. They make such statements in radio and television, and you allow them to go scot-free. Explain what have they done. Anybody can come out and say, I'm going to expand 100%. Is it in reality? Is it done? Which university have they done that? That's number one. Number two, so you just expand it and call everybody to enter medical school. Not everybody can go into the medical school or go into nursing. There is a particular level you must be, a lot of education, a lot of qualifications before you can be. And it's admissible in medical school. You don't just pick up and everyone come on, wow, come on. No, you don't do that.
What about showing interest from primary, secondary, you know, catching them young?
No, it's not the issue.
Is the government not looking in that direction? Is that not going to also help trying to be deliberate about recruitment of more health professionals by starting from grooming students from primary, secondary, you know, more like a future plan for the country?
But let's start for myself. None of my children wants to be a doctor.
And why is
my
that
doctor,
so?
they don't want to because they know what I'm passing through. They don't know. My son, don't bring such a thing here. But all these things you are doing, you don't sleep in the house, you don't do this one, there's nothing we are saying, and all that. So if you go and look at it, most of the children of nurses and doctors don't want to be doctors, don't want to be nurses. Because they know what their parents are going through, and it's just the name. So when you talk of catching them young, you can't catch my children young. They will tell you, I'm living with one. I'm living with this. So what are you catching young there? What is fascinating? They know.
Okay.
So go check it. Most of them don't want to go into medical school. They prefer to do some other more serious thing, 3 years in university, go out and become this. The father, for you to become a consultant, you must spend about 20 years, nearly 20 years in university. By the time you come out, some of them are something else. And what are you catching them young? It's not catching them young. The thing is that even the ones you are having, why don't you make life easy for them? Why don't you make their hospitals friendly? Our hospitals are very unfriendly.
Yeah.
In terms to the doctor.
agree with you.
Those are the things that, yes. We're not talking about talking of patients because some of us wonder how even patients get well in some of our hospitals. Yeah, it's true. We have to say the truth. So it's how do you get those things? And I put it this way, that most of the people running our healthcare system from federal, state, and probably the local government, in terms of that, they have no business being there at all. They have absolutely no business. Most of the people who are being selected, elected to become chief medical CMDs, head of hospitals, and all that, have no business being there at all. But because of political patronage, because of politics, because of religion, because of tribalism, because of ethnicity, so when you bring such people into the running those sectors,
most of them are largely medical practitioners as well.
Not every medical practitioner. You see, that is another mistake. There are two types of doctors at that level. You have the political doctors and religious doctors. But a lot of people don't know. Dr. Lushala Saraki is a doctor. When last does he know the difference between Panadol and Penicillin now? But you call him a doctor. That is the issue, the problem we have in healthcare. Anybody, medical doctor, have medical degrees. No, you cannot run a hospital. You can't. It's not every doctor who can run a hospital. It's not every doctor who can run a healthcare service. So, but there is an assumption. He's a doctor. He's a good surgeon. He's a good gynecologist. So he can become a CMD. That is a fallacy of our situation. That's what is happening in our situations now, in our hospitals. So when you see them, is it not the doctor then? No. Ordinarily, it shouldn't be there. Look, you see, we used to say University College Hospital Ibadan. Princes from Saudi Arabia used to come for treatment then. And I happened to have been there at that time. I laugh at them. I say, you guys just, anyway, we say it occasionally to make us happy. As at that time, the people were running our hospitals were Igbo. They were not Nigerians. The moment they handed over our teaching hospital to Nigerians, indigenous population, the cities started cascading down. That's what has happened. That's why I don't hear their names anymore. Some of them don't have light for 3 months, so they don't have to go down there, like those deserts and all that. So you see, it's a deliberate attempt that you must have to produce what we call hospital administrators. You see, we are talking of doctors and nurses. They are hospital administrators. Hospital administrators can be doctors or nurses. They want to go into hospital management. If you look at most of these hospitals abroad, they are run by administrators. For example, I was in Apollo in India. I found out that it's a hospital administrator who runs it. It's a medical doctor, but it's an administrator, not a medical doctor as such. How do you administer hospital to balance all those things to come out? But what do you have? You just pick up someone because he's this town, it's Jebu's town, it's a bad town. So anybody there they pick in the street is a medical doctor, they put in the voice or not, and they collapse the system. Oh, I can go on, Baro, I can go on and on and on. So the issues there are more than, the brain drain is what you see, but what is under it beyond brain drain.
All right, Mr. Adeniji, let's talk about, there's a news, I think I saw it this morning. Federal government expand nursing admission to 50,000. And, looking at this, how will it help, in this situation? Because one of the things is people are going out. I know we've mentioned something similar, but now I think this is a very deliberate and intentional, attempt by government to also help and reduce the brain drain. So how will this further help, to reduce the heavy load on health workers?
Thank you. What I have found to be the order of issues in Nigeria is that we leave issues and we chase shadow. In the first instance, the issue of increasing admission quota is a defeatist mentality. In the first instance, I have served in the board of federal teaching hospitals in this country, the regulatory council, and when it comes to the issue of training institution, Dr. Nkom mentioned Babcock University now. You will be surprised that when you get to Babcock University and some other universities that are training privately, they are more into doing the ideal thing than the federal government institutions.
Absolutely.
When you go out for accreditation in federal government institutions, you will see that all they are doing there is just window dressing. When you want to increase the admission quota into a school, have you taken into consideration what comes along with it? We are saying that the people who are going to train these students you are admitting are moving out of the country. You are saying you are increasing the admission quota. They are only making the situation very worse. Because infrastructurally, even policy and equipment, how happy are the people that are going to train another lecture in a university in nursing department? And when you go out for examination in some institution, you so much love it, most especially the private institution. But come to federal government institution, they don't have what it takes. But they use the propaganda that we are the owner of the school, you can increase the quota. What is the basis for increasing the quota for training? It is true that many people we are willing to come in, but do we have the capacity to train these people who want to come in? We don't need to train killers. As a result,
Absolutely.
don't believe in the issue of increasing quota. If you increase quota, you increase the load of work for the people that are training. The institution, you go to some institutions, and when they are doing practical session, they do practical session till 9 p.m. in the evening, because there are no enough infrastructure. There are no enough personnel to even as the examiner. So you have to wait for your turn. So as a result, we are only making a mockery of the situation by saying we increase. Have you done the evaluation of what you have on ground? It cannot be a blanket issue. But do you know, just like Dr. Nkoma said it, the registrar of almost all the council they are employee of the federal government. So if the federal government cough, they must swallow the cough.
So now we have a challenge.
So it's not reducing anything. It does not stand any chance to bring anything better in the nearest future.
So we have different associations now, which of course you were the former national president of National Association of Nigerian Nurses and Midwives. We have NMA as well. We have others.
Yes,
you know.
yes.
And one would expect that these are more of the things you push to the federal government. And one would also expect that the people that they are appointing at different levels of the healthcare are also your people, whether they are political, medical practitioners or not, they have certificate. Is politics also affecting that? And of course, what are the conversations going on between those associations and the government to paint the right picture of what is really needed to salvage the health system in Nigeria?
Yeah, you are right. But don't forget quickly that Dr. Nkom said here, there are categories of professionals. Professionals that they are certificated, right? They are licensed, right? But they are not in the core of healthcare services, and they are politicians. And whenever you see, I have a feeling, a view, or a philosophy, even if it is your family member or your friend, if that person goes into politics, minus that person from the right way of thinking.
God bless you.
Because they must pay their masters. Every one of them want to remain in the board of teaching hospitals. They want to remain as the ministers. They want to remain as board of agencies. So it is whatever the government offer that they will continue to polish for you. The situation, you said that the professional association are expected. Many a times, you see, there was a study carried out around 2015. It was found out that most of the industrial strike, industrial disputes that we have in this country are as a result of non-implementation of collective bargaining agreement. When resident doctors are going on strike, they will quote it. On so date, we agreed to do this with the federal government. Federal government has not done it. The nurses will do that. The JOS will do it. It means something is wrong somewhere. If you don't, the rule of engagement is that if you are negotiating, you must know your capacity. I must know the capacity of my own union as well. If you are reaching an agreement, that agreement is supposed to stand. But federal government in Nigeria is always jetsoning agreement. And as it's not that the professional, what I'm saying is that it's not that the professional associations are not doing what we have a lot of agreement that have been reached to improve the situation. At a point in time, there were 3 bodies that came together: the NMA, NAM, and Pharmaceutical Society of Nigeria. What our focus was to increase the quality of healthcare services in this country. And we were meeting. Whatever we meet, you will go as an NMA, you present it. We will present our own. But federal government is so recalcitrant, especially when taking decisions. I don't want to be too wicked. Otherwise, there are some things wicked in the sense that I have served in board of management of hospitals, and I know when we are sitting down, people who have worked for many years, when you promote people, You are not promoting them for what they have not done. It's for the work they have done. But they will say, when you come, the areas of their promotion is not done, and this promotion is not even done as at when due. But when you are there as the board member, you cannot walk out of that board meeting and said, because many other things will suffer. So there are a lot of things that are lip services in this country. Professional associations are doing, in fact, if not for the impact of professional associations, we will not have anything we can refer to as healthcare institution in Nigeria. But when you are there, you see you are dagger drawn with the federal government representatives. I want to know that there was a friend of mine who happens to be Minister of Labour. He was a medical doctor. He will laugh when you say some things. And at the end of the negotiation, he call you and say, you see, what this you are saying, it's not that you don't know, but it can work for now. So the situation is so appalling.
All right, Dr. Nkong, some time ago, the National Assembly proposed a 5-year compulsory practice for, for health workers, doctors, nurses, that even if you are done with and you got a job here, you are working here, you must still at least work here for like 5 years or more before you can. Though the NMA have come to, fault that proposal and all. Now, looking at it, do you think, because we've talked a lot about, the welfare and a lot of things, this is why people are moving out. And a lot of Nigerians also are dying, Now, there's no assurance that if we increase this admission, just like we mentioned, people will still not go out. Now, to reduce and to stop this, do you think this policy will also help?
Well, let me, in addition to what he said, because that's the same question he was asked. Look, if someone wants to go into nursing today, how long will it take? What is the general period for you to become a nurse, a qualified nurse? Minimum of 3 years, sir. Abi?
Minimum
3 years. As a medical student, it takes a minimum of days, industrial action, ASO and other. It takes about 6 years. So what you are talking for today, for you to see it, will be about minimum of 3 years or 6 years. We are talking, what can we do now? Is to make sure we retain the ones we have. And government is not thinking in that way of retaining. We are expanding medical school. Those are political statements, good during soapbox speeches. It's in reality, it doesn't mean anything. Because that expansion to start with, even to expand has a gestational period. They are not expanding as a second. There's expansion. It takes you 6, 7, 8 months for policy before the money is released and all that. It takes about a year. That before it starts working. So we are talking of, it's an acute issue. What do we do now? It's not to force them not to go out, but to make it so lucrative to stay back in this country. Make it very, very sweet for people to stay back in this country, and that is welfare, number one, before any other thing. Number two, make the hospitals friendly. You see, government spends so much money in this hospital. I feel so difficult for them. So much money in our hospital, but you never get to see what happens there. Even we can access healthcare where we work. Doctors and nurses. Go and ask some of them who work in government institutions.
Yes, sir.
They prefer to go to private concerns. It is as bad as that. So when you see them getting angry in the hospital, the nurses are rude, doctors are this. No, they themselves, when they are sick, they don't assess it. In rare cases, they do that because of how those hospitals are run. Run our hospitals well then too. Look, you are talking of national health insurance. You only hear of national health insurance when there is fraud. Nothing comes out of it. You don't. If you go inside, go and look at the type of the quality of drugs they have. Most of the drugs, I'm sorry to say that in there, they are not drugs we would buy normally. They are not substandard drugs, medications you have. Because the people they put there are people who are not supposed to be there. If you put the right people in the right places, this can work. When you now put political patronage, you see,
Dr. Part of the, I was having a conversation with a lawyer recently, and the lawyer was able to say that the general problem of the Nigerian state, you cannot remove the judiciary from it. More like you are saying that the general problem we have in other sectors, you cannot remove the medical practitioners from it. It's still the corruption issue, mismanagement, lack of accountability and the likes. We try to deceive ourselves and say that things are working. Is that really so in the medical? Can things not get better? Because what you are charged with is different from what others are doing. The lives of the people is more like in the hands of the medical practitioners. Another angle to it is there are also suggestions that the leaders that we talk about, that if they are barred from going outside the country for medical tourism, will that also make them or force them to take care of what we have within the country? I also would like you to talk about the private sector in the healthcare system. Some said they, as your professionals are actually most of the people that also go and establish their own medical facilities so that they can run it better than the public is doing currently. I don't know if
let me start with the one of barring people from seeking healthcare. No, you can't do that. It's not right. It's not right. You can't do. Anybody has the right.
No. I was specific because the question he asked talked about not allowing medical practitioners to leave the country.
No,
so the people that are proposing those things, that's the political leaders. If they are also put under such scrutiny, will it actually?
No. You can't put them under such. You see, in as much as you have this problem, you cannot say a politician cannot go to United States to go and comb his hair if he has the money and all that. No, you can't. That is wrong. That's why when you see a passport, medical tourism
is taking a lot from us.
Well, I agree with you totally. That is why our president
they are encouraged to abandon.
No, you can't. Despite we want to say, okay, because of that, you can't do that. They have a human right too. I have a right. They have right. The fact that something is happening and saying does not mean that we should abrogate their right. No, that's the thing. What we tend to we generally, let me make a general statement here. We don't do our things well. It's not as if it's only healthcare alone. Things are going well. Our universities, agriculture, banking system. We now know that we don't have a banking system again in Nigeria. The only banks we have is POS. Generally, that one. So it's not as if it is health alone. It's a general situation of things not being done well. And it started at the point when you allow a black man to take care of the situation. We generally don't do things well. So it affects so many of these things. And when we make policy, we don't sit there and look at what the policy will cost. What will cost us? It's a big thing. It's only that we're discussing health today. Anywhere you go, agriculture, petroleum. Why are we having problem with petroleum? Iran is fighting war. There's no price increase in Iran, but there is a price increase in Nigeria, which is happening this thing away. Ukraine is fighting war with Russia. Ukraine is still supplying grains to Nigeria, who is not fighting any war. How do you explain it? I'm not telling lies. Ukraine is supplying us wheat. Ukraine is fighting war. Nigeria is not fighting any war. How do you explain it? Why do you explain why there is price fluctuation in petrol in Nigeria more than in Israel or Ukraine or Iran? How do you explain that? So it's the whole fabric of our nation. We don't do things well. And it's not as if it is just started today. It's always been there. It's only now that we are more acute. Nigerians don't do things well. If we do things well, if I know Obaro is a human being, and that if I'm going to see Obaro as a patient, I must see her well. That is where it starts. Government policy is secondary. We don't do things well. You want to repair a road. I was just coming from Diaba to this year, from Ashero to this year, and look at the road. That road, you have been repairing that road for the past how many years? And yet, go and look at how the road is to your place. Okay, that one. So the issue is the Nigerian psyche. We are not tuned. Perhaps our education, our religion, our teachings, our morals are not geared towards doing things well. That's how I can put it as a baseline. Because when you do that, you are not given money to buy a CT scan in hospital, please make sure you buy a CT scan. Not a CT scan which will last for 2 weeks. And those things will cost 10 times more than another person will buy. A private sector person will go and buy this CT scan at 10 times lower, and his own will last longer than their own in government hospital, because you have to distribute it to people at top, people at below, and all that. Those are the issues. This, what we are seeing are just the when you talk of is it the real cancer is inside, is the symptoms we are seeing. The Nigerian psyche needs to be reworked, rejigged, and all that. That is the way I can answer that question, because I can go in one by one and all that. Yes, sir.
The private sector, you didn't answer the private sector aspect.
All right, you are please.
I asked about the part.
The private sector that people
Look,
you see, when you talk of this private sector, you have the low-tech and the high-tech private sector. And I dare say, without this high-tech private sector, the Nigerian healthcare system would have collapsed. Most of the transplants are not done in hospitals. They are done in private hospitals. Most of the high-tech surgeries are done in private hospitals, where people sit down and say, we are tired of mediocrity in the government setup, and they pull out, get some resources, and then start giving us the bit of it. What we are seeing now, which is Nigerian healthcare being celebrated, we are not celebrating federal institutions. We are celebrating private hospitals. We are celebrating private concerns, achievements, and what have you. It's not the federal government and all that. So people come out and get tired. Some of them who cannot go out, some of them who can stay behind. Look, is it last week? Someone called me. They called me. They had a strange call from the United States, from immigration in Florida. Sorry, sir, yes. I said, yes. I looked at the number. I don't know anybody here. We want professionals in this, and we see we want to fast track this. And I thought the person was joking, a scam. But it was after 2 days after, I wanted to say, yes, they have lifted the ban. Doctors are now want America, because a lot of doctors left America because of Trump, President Trump. And then they call me and they said, well, we want to say, madam, wait, stop. What did you say? You want me? I said, me. I said, I cannot work in America. No. I said, because of your President Trump. I can't, until when he leaves, that is when we can talk. That is my patriotic zeal. I can do that. Because of myself, because I have my own, I just don't believe that I should, the bit I know should be used for Nigerians. I don't know, that is me, but don't use me as a standard. No.
I've been wondering why you've not left, actually.
Exactly. No, I believe that I should take care of my friends, like black people, Nigerians and all that. Even when I was in India, I go, oh, don't stay behind. I said, no. Nigerians need doctors. Nigerians need help. Nigerians need, the bit we have, let us have it. It's not money all the time. I know I can make many these things. But don't use that as a standard. There are Nigerians like that. Those are the ones who are pull up, amass some money somewhere and use it too. So let nobody talk about, without private, if you close down private clinics in Nigeria, Nigeria will collapse. That is what is happening. And these are the, so when you know how many, if you look at the hospitals, the federal government hospitals and federal state, they are about maybe 1/10 of the total healthcare delivery system. And don't forget, so when you train these nurses, 200 nurses, we will absorb them first. The private sector will absorb them before the federal government goes in. So you can never, they don't know what I'm talking about anyway.
Okay.
So let me just...
Dr. Nkong spoke extensively on corruption and all. And there's been this allegation some time ago about the fact that, doctors in the government setting would establish their own private clinic, divert drugs, and these are allegations then, and even for some nurses who own pharmacies and all this. Now, looking at this, will you say that some of this also contribute because the politicians will believe that, okay, the national cake over there, and some of these people over there too are also a factor. Now, some of these allegations, do you also believe it contributes, if it's true, you are also practice, contribute to, all this we are having, talking about corruption at that level, and whatever is happening in the sector?
Thank you.
You know why that will not surprise me? Is the fact that in Nigeria here, if you cannot impregnate your wife, you find somebody to blame for it. And we are asked what is causing your calamities within you. The situation is that in an health sector, firstly start with the federal government, the government policies. There are a lot of policies in Nigeria that are not working. It has been found that many policies are formulated in Nigeria, but they are not being adequately implemented. That's number one. Number two is that the federal government knew we cannot go further in Nigeria when they introduced private-public partnership. That's a way of you are coming back, your son in the house is accusing you. Why are you late? And then you find a reason, one way or the other, to explain. Whereas what the guy is trying to find out is whether you have any difficulty on the road or not. The situation is that the federal government, the hospitals, government hospitals are not run just like the private hospital. Number one is that if you say a doctor or a nurse that drug, don't forget that the control of the drug in the hospital is in the hand of the pharmacist. When the doctor prescribes, go to the pharmacist. It is what the pharmacist release that the nurse will use. How is it possible
for a nurse
or a doctor to divert the government drug into his own or our own private hospital? Don't forget that these people we are talking of are in the system to mold the system together. The last time we are talking about the issue of stay 5 years before you go, Dr. Nkomo said it. It is against the fundamental human rights. Now, the right thing to be done are left undone. For example, in nursing training now, there's transformation of the healthcare institution. In the past, we say 3 years, you go in, you come out. It's not so today. Institutions are moving into the universities. So when we are not doing all these things, those things are correct things that can improve the quality of healthcare services, not sitting somewhere and then saying the private sector are the ones that are causing the world. However, we may not, two of us here may not be used as standards to judge everybody. If we really know that such a thing is happening,
but you know there are corruptions in
Nigeria generally.
He talked about the Nigerian psyche, not trying to do things well. If government, because we are wrapping up the program now, if government is going to change something now, how can you help? Your associations can help to ensure that that change has come to stay.
We have to look into our policy formulation processes. Who are in charge of health care policy formulation and implementation? Equally, we have to input into the system a working system whereby brain drain can be changed into brain gain or brain circulation. And what it means is that people are free to go out of this country to practice, but when they are coming back to join the system and infuse whatever knowledge and techniques and skill and expertise into the system. It will work. Number three is that make the condition of service of healthcare professionals in Nigeria very attractive, so that it will be more attractive. It's just like osmosis when things are moving. In fact, that natural law has explained everything. If what we are selling here is not tasteful, let's make it tasteful for the people to be able to buy it. We have when everybody finish training, what we have is that I have my certificate, I have my expertise. I want to exchange it for whatever you have, and I can do that one because the future of public health workers in Nigeria is not safe.
All right.
And as a result, we should make it safe. If we make it safe, people will stay on.
All right, we have to go.
Okay.
Time up.
Time up. I was thinking Dr. Nkomo will give us 30 seconds of his final thought on this particular topic.
But
I don't know. You can go ahead.
If something is not done in the next 2 years, in 30 seconds, how bad would this be?
No. It's it's not going to be worse than this because it's been bad for the past 10 years. So it's not going to get worse than this. But let us obey laws. Government should obey laws, and let us do the right things. Don't bring in square, what do you call it, square pegs into round holes. That is the problem with health. Get the right people there. Don't bring politics into health.
Okay.
That's all right.
We've been chatting with Dr. Ebenezer Nkom, a consultant surgeon, and of course, Mr. Abdul Rafiu Adeniji, MNI, the former national president of the National Association of Nigerian Nurses and Midwives. Gentlemen, thank you so much for being our guest on the program today. We are grateful for the insights you've shared, and of course, we hope Nigeria becomes a better country for all of us. Taiwo.
Well, it's been an interesting session with Dr. Nkang and Sir Adeniji, and we hope you enjoyed every bit of it. Join another crew on Wednesday, where they'll be discussing something different. God bless Nigeria, God bless Ogun State, God bless all of us. Bye for now.